Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. Glad that you're here joining us this beautiful Monday night. I'm not alone today. We have a bit of a full house, and I'm excited for these guys to join me. But we'll start with Cristian Putalia's brother. How you doing? Hopefully you dried up those tears a little bit, man.
I'm all right. Oh, so my bad.
He was still working on it. There you go. What's up, man?
No, man. How's it going? Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Trying to catch my I don't know if you guys can tell, but I did a little bit of screaming last night. And not the usual stuff for me, but it happened.
All right, man. I was gonna say, don't get kinky on us, brother. But Joey is also on here. What's up, Joe Chavallo? How you doing, bro?
What's up, guys? I'm, outside the Dynamo, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
doing pretty well.
Not too bad. We can't really complain. And then, last but not least, all the way from New York, we got Diego with us. See, I'm not gonna call you Matthew anymore, Diego. So,
how you Matthew? Doing, oh, well, that's another thing to be sad about, I guess.
Called him Matthew once, and it just kind of stigma, man. That's it. Glad to have each and every one of you guys on here. Obviously, we have viewers starting to trickle in. This is not the last episode of the year by any means. This is sadly just the last episode when there's soccer for any of the Houston teams. As obviously, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, Houston Dynamo 2 was eliminated. And then we already knew the fate of the Dash. It was just a matter of them playing their last game against Bay FC that did not go all that well. And, Houston Dynamo getting eliminated in a very, very tough way to go out for sure. Let's go ahead and just start with the Houston Dash real quick. Again, I mentioned they ended up losing against Bay FC, a game I was hoping to make it out. I think I mentioned the fact that it was like an 8:30 p.m. match. And I was like, I'm going to take my kid, but I hadn't seen the time. And there's no way that they would have kept themselves up at 8:30. Plus there was a rain delay. So typical Houston, it got pushed to like a 9:30 kickoff time, and that was the end of it. I know Dustin was there. I know Manny was there, I believe. And I mean, at least there were some goals, guys. 3-2 match. Jane Campbell. It's crazy to not see her play a game. Due to injury, he was out of the U.S. women national team due to an injury to her hamstring. And then Diana Ordonez also was out with what looked like a shoulder injury, and she actually got surgery on her shoulder. But I know you guys probably didn't watch this amazing game that went down. I know, again, I just kind of followed it. It was free on Ion if it helps anybody that wants to catch it. But let's just Diego, just your thoughts, man. I mean, you went to a couple games when you were down here in the summer, man. Just your overall thoughts on the season as it unfolded, and kind of what do you think is next? I mean, obviously no GM yet, no coach, but just your thoughts on that, brother.
Yeah, so I was able to actually watch the game because I was like, well, it's the last one. Might as well try to enjoy it, I guess.
He disappeared. My bad.
Oh,
I was trying to switch you, and I keep talking, brother.
I think this is the most characteristic Dash performance. Like, if we have one Dash game that like kind of captures the entire season, I think it would be this one. I think it shows like players like Avery, like Avery Patterson, like Barb just being excellent and doing what they do. But it's also a lack of cohesion and kind of a lack of like kind of defensive product, allowing so many goals. I mean, despite a great performance in the goalkeeping spot. I mean, props to the Gamecock alum for making her wonderful debut. Shout out Heather Hins for admittedly a valiant performance. But yeah, like I feel like what's going to happen next is kind of just they need direction, whatever it may be. I think Dash fans are being a little ambitious when it comes to like, hey, we want to win championships. But like, if we look back at the Dynamo's position a couple of years ago, when they were in this position, I mean, the best way to start is just by laying a foundation, by having a project, by having a vision. So, I mean, I think what needs to happen is kind of just setting something in stone
Yeah.
and maybe keep Ricky Clark, maybe keep some of these pieces that have already committed themselves to Houston. So I think we might see some of that, but at this point, I genuinely don't even know.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely interesting because you're right. If you're gonna do something, you got to do it right. And as much as we want to keep saying like, oh, this is a rebuild, but you don't have the pieces yet, especially on the front office. The coaches, the GM. You can't really build anything, without any of that help, because it seems like there's just no guidance, as you mentioned. I know Joey's a big fan of everything that went down with the Dash.
Oh yeah.
But we'll just hear your thoughts, man.
I would say once again the rain delay was the MVP of the season because that was another time I turned on the game and went to rain delay and I said, "Hey, I'll do something else," and didn't watch them lose. So I think that was like the fourth or fifth time this year that's happened. So good on you, weather delays. I mean they're just not good. It's just there's not much to say. There's a few good pieces. Barb's a good piece. Patterson's a good piece.
Zoe Matthews, surprisingly, looks like a baller, man. I mean,
Oh
obviously
yeah,
17. That's the only if you take anything away from what the end of the season gave you, I think she was definitely the brightest star, and she has the potential if they're smart and they can get a GM that can build around her and a coach that can obviously. Again, she's young, but that's not an excuse, right? I mean, we see it in NWSL how many very young, talented players have come in and have just taken the league by storm. So it shouldn't be an excuse. I know that she didn't get a ton of minutes towards the end, when she was brought in, but still, I think it's somebody that you really have to take seriously, Joey.
yeah, for sure. I don't know what much else we really learned from this game. I mean, we know that there's a few of the older pieces kind of just walk around, don't really show what we need. They could leave. Who cares? Some players still taking like personal leaves. Who was that? Who was taking it? Was that Rubinson?
Rubinson, Backman.
Yeah,
There's quite a few for sure.
Like, come on. They could all screw off. I mean, the defense, they conceded 3 goals, but at least like some of the players still look pretty good. I would still like Natalie Jacobs a lot. I think Jalissa Harris has kind of shown that she's not very good and not a piece to build around. And Hins is a decent backup goalkeeper. It's also a thought to game for him. But I mean, they're not good. They didn't look good again. They lost. It's the same things we've been saying all year. There's nothing new to add.
Yeah, and to Diego's point, you really, apart from just organization, you need transparency because the club hasn't come out here and apart from just letting or saying the fact that they let go of Alex Signer and obviously they parted ways with can't even think of the guy's name, Fran Alonso. He was gone for way too long, man, for me to remember his name.
Who?
But, yeah, exactly. But apart from that, is just a matter of there's really haven't been any transparency from specifically Jessica O'Neill on this topic. And I know there was supposed to be a couple, if not at least one, meeting with the fans, and I don't think that ever happened after the fact. And it we know for a fact the season was basically over since like August 31st when the transfer window closed and nothing was made, right? No deadline, no transfers were brought in to try salvage the season with more than 10 games left. And Joey, you called it, man. They weren't going to get 10 points. They only got 6 points out of their last 10 games, which is that just
wild.
tells you that says a lot. That says a lot for sure. But again, we won't. There's nothing new, I guess, in respect of what happened with the dash. Um, that's funny.
You saw the same thing
Yeah,
I saw.
Igbear over here. Good job, man. Here, I'm a post it. I won't say it, but y'all can read it if you guys are watching live. But yeah, it gets to the point of
That's funny.
the there's nothing new currently. Hopefully we've learned more. We definitely won't spend a lot of time talking with the dash, especially being the fact that we already knew that where the season was ending. It ended quite a while back. Now to the open wounds of yesterday. We'll get to that. But Christian,
No,
yeah, I
no,
just
yeah, I
want
was just saying one last thing about the dash. The good thing is that it's over, right? And
that
now
is true.
the rebuilding starts. They got 4 or 5 months to the beginning of the new season in March, and I hope that Jessica O'Neill, that who I actually saw walking around yesterday, and I saw Ted. So hopefully those two minds come together with a good amount of cash and bring somebody that is not going to leave mid-season, for God knows what, and they can put something together, I guess. But it's over, and start fresh.
Absolutely. That's a positive way of thinking about it. Might as well the
Might
the
as
crap
well.
of a season that you had is over. Uh you need to restart, hit a hard restart. Go ahead and name, a general manager quickly, so that way you can get a coach quickly and not wait till what happened with Fran Alonso, right? I mean, he got hired about during preseason, when preseason started basically, and he didn't make it till like a month after the fact from all the paperwork that had to be completed for him to show up. And like I said, he wasn't here long enough in Houston in comparison to how long he was out. But Chris, before we move into the Houston Dynamo talk, and I made myself a paloma. I don't know if anybody know what a paloma is.
Nope. What
No,
is it?
all right. So it's basically grapefruit soda and tequila, but actually I
Damn.
didn't have tequila, so I actually put some rum on this. But it tastes very similar, to be honest. But
That's
On
low
the
key.
Monday?
yeah, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. Diego, being Mexican, you know about what is it, amargo licor? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's how we've been feeling, man. Just
They usually play that at the stadium, no?
they do every time they do the water breaks, they'll play that song.
Yeah.
But Chris, man, tell the people how they can connect with us, dude.
Yeah, man. The website, like always, is bayoucitysoccer.net. Go check everything out over there, guys. Great pictures, great articles, great interviews. Everything that we do here is going to be linked over there to the website. So go check it out over there. Check out the social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the YouTube channel, of course, if you're not on it, and go and subscribe over there. We do also all the press conferences and everything that all the interviews that when we do with the players or the coaches or whoever it might be, it's going to be over there, so you can check it out yourself. Other than that, just go to the website bayoucitysoccer.net, and there's going to be all the links to everything. And once again, shout out to Ugly Guppy for hooking us up, man, the whole year with some great stuff. And just can't wait for the new sponsors that are going to come out too. So shout out to them. And shout out to all the new ones.
All right, man. So this is the time of what's it called? The day of the podcast that I'm sure everybody's going to be listening to, being so recent with the Houston Dynamo. I'll get it started, but I want really you guys' opinion on everything here. But clearly and obvious is the fact that Houston Dynamo cannot beat Seattle Sounders. They in 4 matches, obviously 2 in the regular season, they weren't able to take care of business. I think that the end of it, whether I know they lost in penalties, both matches, heartbreaking way to go out, especially at home. But in reality, it's basically the definition of what the entire season for the Houston Dynamo has been, right? Great in possession, builds well, from the back, but lack of attack. Alayu was just
Who's that?
non-factor for a lot of it. I don't want to pick on Bossy, but he wasn't a big factor as well. Dorsey was the one. Dorsey, Joey Chavala's like BFF, man, was just killing it. That was his night. But it's just a matter of that. Again, it's just a culmination of like what the entire season was. This 2 games what defined it, and I really think that if they would have beat the Sounders, it would have been a Dynamo team that could have gone further into the final. Just because that was just the next stepping stone. However, I think this was still a very successful season when it comes to the trajectory of the team. Lack of titles, obviously, is going to be the biggest scale when it comes to it in comparison to last year. And people may see like I'm gonna post this one, Chris, bad guy Chris, saying that the Dynamo need a new club president GM. That's a little too far. That's a little too far. I think we're all gonna disagree with that. But in reality, guys, Chris, I'll start with you since you were able to go as a fan yesterday and to a stadium, man, that looked pretty empty in the beginning. Obviously, the rain was not helping. And by the 20th minute, it was a packed house, man. But just your thoughts on the game yesterday, and then you can go a little bit, as a whole if you want. But give everybody a little bit of time for sure.
Yeah, to channel in my inner Joey stats, the Dynamo was the last time they beat Seattle was back in 2021, which is wild. If I'm not mistaken, he'll probably double check my work.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so no, I mean it was an experience. Honestly, yeah, I haven't been to a game as a fan per se, like in the stands in a while. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. It was a good game. It was entertaining. I did, have I had a lapse of like 10-15 minutes that I didn't watch the game because I was trying to hunt down some elote in a cup or con in a cup, which when we got to the goddamn place, they didn't have any. So I was like, oh, okay, great, So had to go back to the seat and fucking run.
It was the last game of the season. They knew it. They're like, we're only 5,000 people are gonna show up. They were pessimistic, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, it was kind of sad. We got there. They were like, hey, 20 minutes. I'm like, bro, the game second half is about to start. So I ended up getting some what the hell did we get? Some quesadillas. Pay like $20 for a quesadilla. It still hurts. But just the whole reason I'm mentioning that is because I met a guy, he's a young kid. He's probably like 14, 15, no older than that. But Connor, shout out to Connor. We had a whole conversation. He said he was going to listen and follow. So just a quick shout out to him. But game one, I mean, it was an entertaining game. I don't know. I think it's been what the Dynamo has been in the last, I don't know, few months, going in, controlling possession a lot of the time. Seattle Sounders also had their own, time where they had the ball and they controlled the ball. But the same thing, I feel the same way about Aliyu that maybe you did, Rudy. I didn't think he was existent at all in the match, and maybe that kind of hinder us on that side. I mean, he had a good couple of runs here and there, but honestly, nothing of a substance, in my opinion. But when it came to just kind of hustling, it was pretty dope to see that they hustled to the last minute with one man down. I mean, we can get into the whole Achi situation, but having Coco and Achi both get red carded over dumb shit, it's kind of annoying in a way as a fan. You could say disrespectful, whatever. I didn't see the whole spitting situation. But when you look back at it, you're like, well, you can't be that stupid. You're a veteran, you're the captain, you do this, you do that. You should know better. At least be an asshole, but don't be that dumb. There's certain ways, I guess, to talk shit to the ref in a way. But it just kind of leaves a little, sabor amargo, as you would say, talking about your drink. It just kind of sucks that, your captain kind of goes out. If this is last game, as we're speculating, or maybe
it could be, right? Yeah, possibly.
It's a terrible way to go out. You literally went out the back door, with a red card. He was playing good, I feel like, and I'll just let you guys.
Yeah,
talk,
let me build up on that, and I'll push it towards someone else. But if we're gonna the LEU thing, the comment, it looked like there was a big disconnect between especially him and Ache. There was a few times that I think Ache saw a certain run, LEU was doing the opposite. The ball went in outside of the field, or vice versa, and you could just tell. I told David was with me at the game, and I'm like, did you see the look that like Ache gave him? It was like one of those like, man, no mames way.
Yeah, funny you say that because it's funny. I told my wife, I was like, even when Aliyu, I guess, wasn't in the wrong 100%, but I told my wife, I was like, even when Ache was like gave a terrible pass because he gave the pass behind him, like very clearly a terrible pass, right? But even when Ache is wrong, he's right in a way, right? Yeah. Because if he would have made the run, obviously the pass would have gone forward in between the line or between the defender and in the space, I guess we would say. But since he didn't make the run, I guess he was expecting Aliyu to cut back and get the pass. And that's why he passed it behind him. And, he never cut back. He just kind of stayed in that limbo space where he didn't make the run. He didn't cut back to receive the ball. So I understood Acha's frustration. And that was kind of like the straw when I was like, come on, Aliyu, what are you doing, bro? Like, get in the game. Like, we know you can make runs, but this is not it. And then he had a little, like, flick over the head of one of the defenders, and everybody was
that was the best play.
Aliyu,
that was the best play of the whole season for him, right?
I looked around. There was 3 guys behind me, and they were, with all due respect, they were fucking dumb. And I just looked around, and I was like, no, like, and then when they took him out, they were like, "Oh, why are you taking Aliyu? He's our best player." And I turned around, I was like, "Because he fucking sucks." And then I was in my own game. I was already pissed off, but
because of the corn, because you couldn't find the corn. Hey,
it was the corn. Yeah, go ahead.
So going in, obviously, I believe, and just looking at all the numbers, and Joe, you may have it from what Ache was doing. He was by far one of the best players before he got red carded. I mean, he had a couple good through balls that ended in, I believe both of them were in Franco's feet, and he just either took a shot and got deflected, and why not? But the red card itself, man, I understand the pin out frustration. I understand. I was watching the game again this morning. I don't know why I did that. I only caught 30 minutes just because. But you could see that he had already done a couple fouls similar to what ended up being the yellow card. That obviously escalated to a red card. But it happened so quickly, and obviously you don't know exactly what's happening. Smart Rudy had his Apple Apple TV on as the game was happening. Apple TV is about like a minute, in comparison to like watching it live. So as this is unfolding, I see like it stops whenever Acha just like gets his huge, like, what is it called, loogie, and spits it towards the ref, and he hits the guy in the leg. There's no denying it. You can see the referee feels it and looks back, and he was like, what the hell just happened? And obviously they go back and look at it, and this is where I'm going, Diego. I'll go to you with this one. How disappointed is it to see, especially being this leader, Ache, and as I'm Mexican national team fan, that I suppose you follow him, and we all see him as this another level, right, playing in big teams in Europe and why not. What the hell is going through his head, do you think, in your opinion, brother?
I mean, nothing at all. I mean, probably nothing at all is going through his head if you're doing something like that. I've watched him play ever since I was a little kid. I mean, being a fan of La Selección, that's an understatement for me, which is why I'm a little pressed still to this day that I didn't get to go that Aggie game at Texas A&M, but it's all right. It's La Selección's fault, not y'all's. It just kind of boils down to what I think is the keys to playoffs here in MLS. It's cohesion and composure. Those are the 2 C's of MLS playoffs. If you don't have both, you're not winning at all. Herrera showed that, to be quite honest, he didn't have either. He was not able to get on the same page as his teammates. And watching the game, Aliyu, yes, he was also just completely out of it. But as a leader, you have to take the responsibility to get your teammates on the same page. That's what a captain does. That's what a leader does. A captain does not sit there and yell and scream and pout or spit at a referee. Like that sounds like something from an Impractical Jokers skit.
It
Like
does. Yeah.
I like
I was telling you guys in our group chat. I mean, ESPN FC was posting about this crap. Like, they clearly don't care about the MLS. They only post about Inter Miami and Messi. And for him, I mean, he made it, I think, in Barstool Sports. He made it in like VFR. I mean, this bro, Hector Herrera was literally in everything because of
like
for ad revenue.
MLS, we can be honest with ourselves and say that it's not as popular of a league as the top 5 in Europe and that kind of thing. But when my friends in New York City are sending me texts of like, "Hey, isn't this your bro Herrera? Isn't this your guy?" You've done something wrong. Like, I think Herrera's actions kind of, I mean, there's no really way to describe it besides the most quote unquote mature player on the field being the most immature. I think same with Coco in the first game. It just showed kind of the true character of this team of like, we pride ourselves for being the team that hustles, that fights till the end, that like no matter what's faced in front of us, we like overcome, we fight.
For sure.
Like the whole grind to shine mentality, like that's been like kind of thrown in our faces. But like they market themselves as that team.
Yeah.
But then when you're faced with adversity and a team like Seattle that are going to bring their A game, you fight the other players and you spit on the referee.
Yeah. No, it's a team again against Seattle. 4 red cards by the Dynamo in the last 6 matches. That's in 2 years under Ben Olsen. I don't know what the deal is. I understand Seattle is a hell of a team for sure. But Joey, I'm gonna take this to you, man. Just your thoughts on that. Just your thoughts on how frustrating is it just to see them crumble like that and lose character, man. Again, I think it's very surprising because you're right, Diego. We have never seen them really do this, in the past.
Yeah, it's not a trend. It's not like it's something that happens all the time. There was like a little bit of a red card spell last year, like mid-season before Leagues Cup, but it's not been a big part of this team. I mean, Seattle is a pretty scrappy team. I'm going to agree with what Ben Olsen said in the press conferences that the referee didn't handle the game very well in either match, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not that I think the Coco one is a little...
I think the
Hector one is that's a red card. There's you can't even make an argument against that.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Coco one, I think you can make an argument against it because it was just a squabble of a bunch of players throwing haymakers and like everyone was doing it. You separate them, you give them their yellow cards, and that's it.
You got to ask him, right, exactly what went down because the broadcast never showed what initiated the brawl. Like you never, I mean, obviously you saw Reagan fall down, but you didn't know exactly what happened, what was said, if there was anything. And so because of that and what happened with Coco, to me, I'm with you. I just don't feel that was a straight red, but that's 20. What is it? Hindsight 2020 at this point. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, it's surprising, and I mean, where we go from here? I think at the end of the day, the team is well, what's it called? Well developed. I think we already knew, game after game, we see exactly who the starters are. We know the starting 11 by heart. Something that in past coaches never really happened, right? But when you have a good team, there's still modifications. There's still things that need to be added. There's still things that need to be, fixed. And I think if you guys follow Asher Mendelson, the assistant general manager to Pat Onstad, he mentioned how the mentality is there already. The preseason starts in 11 weeks. 11 weeks, guys. That seems pretty quick, So just wanted to hit up because I do have it here, and we'll go into some of the calls that are gonna have to be made. And so let me start real fast with the offseason calendar. So obviously the season goes on. Joey, when is the final again? December 6th.
6th or 7th, right?
So
It's the 7th.
is the 7th.
7th.
Okay, so December 7th. That's MLS Cup. I know Joey's gonna be watching. Diego, you have to keep watching. I mean, you have the two New York teams out there doing their
If
thing.
one of them
Man.
makes it, I gotta go. I look. I bleed orange. I think I hope that point comes across. But boy, is it fun to cover good teams.
No. I mean, it's just fun to cover. The sport.
Is there what are the odds either of them hosts? There's like no odds that the Red Bulls could host, right?
Red Bull would never host. NYCFC, I think it depends on who would come out of the West. If it's any LA team, obviously no chance. But
so they could so New York City could only host if they play Vancouver.
But I mean, technically, there's still more games to come because, so like you said, if Red Bull goes against each other, that'd be a good match.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'd say that's unfortunate. The only way New York City FC could host MLS Cup is if they play Vancouver, and the odds of it being a Vancouver New York City MLS Cup final, I would say, are beyond slim.
Yeah. So of course you guys know that there's a lot of players already complaining that if like Galaxy per se, that they already are in as well, Seattle, they basically get 3 weeks before they play again. So most of them are going to play like the week after Thanksgiving or the week of Thanksgiving, I believe. Which is again pretty interesting that it's such a long break, and of course because of FIFA break in the middle of it. But the important date for the Dynamo next would be Wednesday, November 27, being the club deadline to exercise options and submit bona fide offers. So granted, it doesn't have to wait till then. There's already teams like St. Louis that as soon as they made it out, literally the next day, they mentioned who they were letting go. But we'll go through this list here real quick with you guys of players that have an option for next year and years to come. We start with, Bossy. Would you guys keep him? Bring Bossy back?
Keep
10 player?
Keep easy.
All right. Then
what about you, Rudy? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm the believer that says Bossy sucks, but you know what? He can still be beneficial at times, just not as a number 10 creative guy. Leti Blessing, he has also an option here.
Let's bring back that. If he's not a creative player, where else would you play him?
No. We're not talking. We don't have enough time for this today.
Somewhere on the field.
I don't know, man. He just doesn't move the needle to me. But Blessing, it's another guy with an option. 2025. I know he makes a pretty good bank. Did he do enough, you guys think, to come back?
No, he's just that piece.
He's just a worse commission.
Yeah.
I think there's better players that would probably be cheaper than him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Unless, again, you can always, he's still young. You can always try to work some other contract. Why not? Guys, I'm not reading a lot of the messages out loud. I'm just putting them on here for you guys to enjoy. And man, we have
that Red Bull's
quite a few
hilarious.
people joining us today. So, we'll keep it going here.
The Red Bulls haters, man.
All right, this one, it's I would say one that has been roaming a lot. His name, Steve Clark, option for 2025. Obviously after not saving a penalty, and he's been the chatter all over X. Thank God that Joey Chavala ended up canceling his account for a little bit, so he doesn't have to read all the stuff that went down. But what do you guys think,
I don't
man?
know what went down.
Well, everybody just wanting him out.
You would have a heart attack with things being said.
What are your thoughts on him, Joey? on club option for next year?
You probably take it, right? What's he making? 500K. It's pretty standard for a goalkeeper. I mean, statistically, he was a top 5 goalkeeper in MLS
He's a
this year.
beast. Like I told David
Great
yesterday,
shot
I'm like,
stopper.
dude, if the guy could save a penalty, he'd be the best goalkeeper in the world.
He's a good goalkeeper. I mean, penalties are a crapshoot anyway. You're not going to get rid of your stud veteran goalkeeper because he's not getting a shootout that he might partake in once a season.
I think the stat was given by Dustin that he had only saved like 5 penalties out of like 55 for the Dynamo or something like that. I mean, if the dude would save a little bit more, he would take that award from Dibu Martinez.
And I can tell you that out of those 5 that he saved, a few of those hit the post.
Or just went where what's it called, over the bar for sure. I remember Leagues Cup. That was a thing.
He should have a clause. I think FIFA should start like a Clark rule, which is you can, if there's a PK, you can switch out the goalkeeper just for the PK. like basketball, or like football, you can put them in for like one play and then they can come out.
Yeah,
I think we should do that.
It's funny because they did it with, what's his name? Man, I'm blanking on the guy's name. He used to be the goalkeeper for the Dynamo, went to the Nashville. What's his name?
Willis.
Joe Willis.
Yes.
Joe Stash.
If you guys remember, they've done that with him. Like, they have somebody else and they just throw that guy in. I mean, the dude is like 7 feet tall, basically. I mean,
if they're good, they're good.
If they're good, they're good.
There's
All
no
right.
shame.
Chelsea did that too a few years ago, and they got
a lot of
clowned
teams
on
do
it.
that. Yeah. A lot of teams do that. You just gotta know your role.
Was Mignolet? Mignolet, the goalkeeper from Belgium? That was the guy that you also saw go in, as well as Borek. Was the guy's name Borek? Polish guy, played for Celtic. I think that I can't think of his
Celtic. I have no idea. I know Celtic goalkeeper. I only think Joe Hart right now.
That's just who it is right now. Yeah, the other guy, I'm timing myself because that guy's probably been retired for a minute. But yeah, they've done that in the past. Next name up is Franco Escobar. Escobar. Yeah, see a lot of. They go no reason to resign him over penalties. Okay, yeah. Escobar, we keeping, right?
Easy keep.
I would keep him 100%. Keep him.
You just gotta slap him a couple times. Be like, "Hey, stay." And then
his intensity wins you games. It maybe loses you 100% or 2 a year, but I mean, he's.
I agree. Yeah, he's one of those players that has that grind mentality that you want from players.
One of the top players in MLS and tackles per 90 as well. Same with cross fullbacks when it comes to passes and pass completion, progressive passes, all the categories you want for this team. He's leader in stats.
Yeah, I agree. He's a good player to have.
All right, next one up. It's another hot name, hot topic here. Hector Herrera, club option for 2025.
That's a no-brainer.
I was thinking that he wouldn't come back, but
Rudy,
the inclination
doing investigative work over here.
Just kind of seeing what they're offering out there. I mean, maybe it's all for bait as well, but Joe, you made a good point. What you would bring them and why? Just I know you mentioned it on the group a little bit.
Well, why would he come back?
Yeah. Like, what would you just go ahead and do that instead of like possibly even like reworking a new deal?
No, you just bring him back for 1 year. I mean, I think the stars kind of aligned to go for a championship next year in terms of a lot of players' ages and contract situations, and health situations with those wingers. You just take the option if he wants to retire or move on for free after that, then let him do that. I mean, there's no point in just letting him leave now unless he really wants to. He just doesn't want to play for the Dynamo. Then of course you let him leave. But
hey, Joey, I posted that comment that says keep him one more season but lower his salary. That would mean what he's saying is more declining the option.
Decline the option,
restructuring. But
why does it matter what his salary is? He doesn't need a player. It's the same cap impact whether he's making $5 million or $55 million. It's the same shit in terms of the salary cap. So why does it matter? Who cares? You pay him what he's making.
Yeah.
And you don't just let him walk. He's your captain. He's your best player. Are you gonna go and replace your captain and best player in a season to go win a championship? Like, it's obvious that next year is the year based on, again, salary, ages, contracts, and stuff. So
no, and that's why I wanted to bring you into that, because again, my train of thought, thinking away from the amount of money he was making, was it when you restructure that contract, he's not gonna sign for 1 year or 2 years. He's probably gonna try to max it out. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be the same, probably the same amount of money, even if it's lower per year for longer span. That at the end of the day wouldn't make much sense. Dude's 34 years old. He is not Messi. FYI, he is not Messi. He is not Ronaldo. He's not a player.
He ain't Maxi Morales either.
He's not Modric.
He's no Dax McCarty either.
He's no Vicente Sanchez. I don't know. I don't know if he has the wheels to play, 3-4 more years for the Dynamo.
2 for sure.
Why not? Why not? 2?
I think he has 2 more in the bank. Next season, 2025, maybe a 2026.
What are the odds of him spitting on a ref if he plays 2 more years?
No. That boy cut his hair and he got cranky.
Oh. So by the way, for people saying he should go just for spitting on the referee, that's ridiculous. If you let players walk for making a mistake in a game, you wouldn't have a roster.
For sure.
No one would have a job. We'd all be jobless.
Finish your
Good
thought.
thing you're not in Twitter, bro.
It was just like you let him play one more year, and then you bring Griezmann in.
There you go.
I
like it.
He's already committed that he's going to the MLS.
He loves humidity, I heard.
He likes to drink mate. We have a couple Argentinians.
He loves Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose probably played in Houston for like a game.
We're close to Chicago, maybe.
We're kind of close to Chicago.
We're in Chicago. I mean, Central Time. They always, hey, what's your time zone?
Don't
Chicago,
tell him.
Same difference.
Chicago time. We're in Chicago time.
You ain't gotta tell him.
It's the same difference, man. Again, I think disappointing the way the season ended. Obviously, there's a lot going through it. We started with Champions Cup, Leagues Cup, U.S. Open Cup, and MLS Cup as possible trophies that the team could have lifted, and empty-handed. If you're being real, at the end of the day, you didn't win anything. Just like the rest of the teams that didn't make, like Austin, as Dallas, Sporting Kansas City, teams like that at the end of the day, they didn't even have a chance in the playoffs. But it sucks that I really felt that this year you could have gotten another trophy, with the team that they had. And, different reasons, right? I mean, obviously you didn't have Ache with Champions Cup and Basi, and you saw what happened there. Leagues Cup, I don't know. US Open Cup, my God, you lose to the first round. Awful. And then obviously
Union Omaha, right?
First round here.
Oh,
Detroit.
Okay.
We only remember because they have great fans.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
They were going at it.
But again, and that's the most important date coming up, just because obviously you'll find out what your roster looks like going into a full transfer window, and then I'll just name the next ones coming up, which obviously we'll be back. I'll be taking a little bit of a break. I think I really need it. I don't know. I feel a little drained, man. I need to do some karate, something, man. Kind
of palomas.
Drink more palomas, maybe.
Drink more palomas.
Right. But here, Monday, December 9th, that's half-day trade window. Usually nothing happens there. Wednesday, December 11th through the 14th, that's MLS College Showcase, which I guess we still have a draft, right? Yeah, we do.
Dynamo those players.
December 11, will Coco stay? Yeah, Coco's staying. I don't think they're selling him. Wednesday, December
expansion draft in there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this December 11, Wednesday, MLS expansion draft. So obviously, new to the league is gonna be San Diego FC with Chucky Lozano, and maybe Hector Herrera. I don't know. That's just a topic that has always been bouncing
You just
around.
want him to go, don't you?
They've been saying that he may,
There'd have to be a trade for that. I
hey,
don't know about that
the
one.
guys from Tijuana, they're like, dude, Tijuana, San Diego's right there. I don't know. Everybody wants to bring that cat home, man. Thursday, December 12th, free agency officially opens. Thursday, December 12th, end of year waivers. And then as Friday, December 13th, re-entry process stage 1. And
Ooh, big days.
big days, man. Big days. Usually nothing really happens there.
Yeah, we got Dylan Remick there one year. That's big stuff.
Yeah, they did. And I think there was somebody else that left. Expansion draft. Let's touch on that a little bit. We're doing good times. So you think, Joey, that San Diego wants any of our guys?
I could see a guy. I think our DPs are not automatically protected. It's homegrowns and Generation Adidas that are.
Where she stays.
I don't know. It depends on what kind of approach San Diego wants to go to. If they want to go young or old, if I feel like if they want to go old, I could see them taking a guy like a Daniel Steres who might not get protected. Or
I would do everything in my power to like sell Ferreira to them. Be like, hey,
there you are.
hey.
Say, I doubt Ferreira gets protected. I doubt they take him. That'd be awesome.
You want a 9?
I could see them taking like a Latif Blessing.
Yeah.
If Sebastian Kovalchik somehow doesn't get picked, I could think he could be a guy they'd want.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, who else would they want? I mean, are they gonna have the protection for the wingers is gonna be kind of weird because they have 3 U22 wingers. Are they gonna
Hey, and I totally
protect all 3 of them?
I got stuck on Hector Herrera, but we had a couple more guys to talk about. So let me go ahead and hit those.
What the hell is that?
Having fun.
I thought you clicked the button.
The sorrows of going to
that
college
wasn't me.
campus.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so Junior Moreno, one of the guys that just recent. So wait, give me a second. Let me backtrack. Kovalchik, he has one. Talking about him.
Clear bring back for
yeah.
Kovalchik.
Mikael, another guy.
You give him a new contract.
Yeah, I don't know how
Boy.
recent this is because I thought he had got a new contract, but
No, he
Dustin
hasn't.
posted this, so I'm assuming this is the newest. He has an option for 2025 and 2026. I say you go ahead and sign him for 2026 through 2026. Junior Moreno, guy that was just brought in.
Keep him.
I think, yeah, I would keep him. I think he, the idea with him, what I thought was be another like Caicedo type of player, kind of as your closer. I would definitely keep him, especially if
He's a good player. He was good for Cincy that last year.
He was, yeah. I actually, this is a shout out here. I was able to talk to him for the Spanish podcast. I know I didn't put I didn't translate or put subtitles, but he talked a little bit about that, his time in Cincinnati, how he kind of came into that brand new team. And in 2 seasons, took them. Did they win the Shield? I don't know.
Yeah, they won the Shield.
Okay,
They won the Shield last year
2023.
with him.
Yeah,
he was good. He was really good for them.
So yeah, he's one guy that I would see them keeping for sure. Then next up would be Brad Smith. Man, are we keeping Brad Smith?
Please leave,
Christian.
I think Joey said it all.
All right, let me see. Then we have Daniel Steres. I love that guy. I would sign him. I would just keep him. I think he knows his role. He has done fantastic. Someone argue with me against it, please. Diego.
He's the best striker in the club.
Sure. I think for a center back, we should go younger. We should start developing start looking into our D2 guys. Start trying to invest ourselves into a future, because you mentioned next year's kind of like our win it all mentality.
Right.
Steres isn't going to be here for more than 2 years, and so if we're going to build from somewhere, we need to build from the back.
I like this guy. See, he
That's a great point.
it. Good way, man. Yeah, this guy was in the high school debate team. I can already, I can tell.
100%.
Eric Sviatchenko, obviously he was tagged with a designated player.
100% bring him on.
Option year
That's not even a
2025.
question.
Solid, right?
Shevchenko?
Yeah.
Shevchenko, yes.
Shevchenko, you bring him back. I mean, he was fantastic work alongside Mikhail for sure. All right. Diego, you want to debate that one? He is old, man.
No, I'm kidding. He's our best defender. He's
You're
our
like
best
copy
defender.
and paste what I say for Daniel Steres, man.
No, I mean Eric's. I know that we said like that Herrera's the captain, but Eric's our leader. I think there's no one else that can do it better than he can.
Bossy needs to go. That's a crazy take.
Yeah, by far, Zinchenko has been the
that.
guy that win or lose, he's there talking to the media, and for the fans, right? Because the fans want to know what the hell is going on, and he's one of the guys. Clearly steps up, talks to the media. Not the only one, but for
my
the most part,
captain
you see
right there,
him.
bro.
He's a big Bayou City soccer fan too,
and he's our center back. You know, media day comes, I'm gonna ask him to play for us. What about that?
I just want to go shopping with him, like clothes shopping.
Right?
Know, right?
You guys see his art stuff that he's selling?
He's good.
His dad is good stuff. Yeah.
I remember the first time I met him. It was like right when he got signed, and like I was at the Manil, and I don't know why he was there, but like I just went like, "Hey man, welcome to Houston. Like I hope you enjoy yourself." Like in my head, I was like, "I hope you can understand me," but like, and he was like really nice.
He speaks better English than me.
Like, and every interview that I've done with him, super respectful for me.
He's great,
even
man.
though I'm like a kid. So I mean, props to him.
I will say when we first they said, "Oh my God, he's a Danish center back," I was so happy. I'm like, "Oh my God, we finally get like a 6'7" guy in the back." And then I see him and I'm like, "Bro, we're the same size." But you know, this guy won me over. He's a beast. He has such great timing. He's a monster. Diego.
Replace Steres for Rudy. There, same size right there. That's who we should sign.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man, that is so funny. I'll just keep posting on the comments. Next one up, it is our last one here that I have. Andrew Tarbell. Oh no, there's a few more. My bad. Andrew Tarbell. Obviously, he hasn't played much. He won an MLS. I mean, U.S. Open Cup last year. I mean, he was pretty good then. He gets another run this year, and they're out in penalties because he couldn't save one either. Do you keep him? You bring him back? Do you let maybe Xavier Valdez, who has also an option, and we can bundle those two together, a homegrown in there with an option? You bring them, Joey? You bring any of them back?
Tarbo, man. It just depends on what the coaching staff's evaluation of Xavier Valdez is. If he's ready to be the backup, you let Tarbo walk. If he's not good enough to be the backup yet, then you keep Tarbo for another year. And that's really all it comes down to. I don't see what Xavier Valdez looks like in training every day. I only see him in the periodic dose games I watch, and as a goalkeeper, it's kind of hard to evaluate there as well. So it's whatever they think.
I will say he still needs, like, there's a lot for him to grow. I think he's definitely raw talent. Xavier is. He still does some silly mistakes, and you can tell every time I've gone to the game. You see how the coaches and the guy Gouda. I just know him on Instagram. The goalkeeper coach for them. He's always pointing it out, and it's obvious, especially with distribution. For how big he is, he sometimes looks a little slow in reaction. So I mean, he's 19. He's still young. I mean, goalkeepers can go to their 40s, if they're good enough. I mean, there's guys that ride the bench their whole careers and eventually become starters. I mean, look at the guy from RSL's out, but what's his name? McMath, I think. I can't think of the guy's name, but anyways, he did
the starter for a bit in Colorado, I think.
I mean, look at Brad Stuver for Austin.
Yep. Yeah. And dude, was the best player, one of the best goalkeepers.
Yeah,
Stuver was a career backup
rode
for
the
a while
bench for New York City, and then came to Austin and became their best player.
Trade Steve Clark, swip swap.
Damn,
I'll take it.
For Stuver.
Yeah.
How many penalties has he saved?
That's very that'd be like the most pointless sideways trade you could possibly make. How old's Brad Stuver?
He's not that. He's
Younger,
not
for sure.
39.
He's 33, so you're swapping a top 5 38-year-old goalkeeper for a top 5 33-year-old goalkeeper. That's
Hey,
I mean,
years.
yes, you get younger, but like, I mean,
we just need to figure out the penalty situation here because again, in 3 years that we've had Steve Clark in goal for the Dynamo, it hasn't been like the most amazing time for sure. Next one up.
So hold on
Chris.
before you go through.
Yeah.
I had a joke in my previous the solo podcast I did. I don't know if you guys heard it or not. Probably not. But I said
I didn't. I'll be honest.
That I could score I could score a penalty on Clark with a balloon. That's how I feel.
All right.
With all due respect.
Whenever, and I don't know. I don't know if the other guys listen like from Foxtrot and stuff like that. But I had a conversation with Germán, and he was saying how, we were kind of same topic, how he can like hasn't been able to save a penalty. And he said, he's like, it's intimidating, like the goal is so big. There's no way that like I'll score on you. And I was like, bet, like, let's go out there. I bet I can block a penalty. And he's like, I bet you $100. So anyways, sometime if we do media game, I mean, it doesn't have to be $100. I told him, but my point is that they are.
It's got to be $100.
They are savable. I never played like full on goalie like my brother did, but I was able to save a couple shots.
Coming from a goalie, it's possible. It's possible.
Sorry.
We joked around about this. Rudy, especially asking me, "Wait, you've played women's soccer?" I have Division 1 experience with women's soccer, and let me tell you, it is possible to save them.
Definitely,
it is possible,
man. It definitely is. I had to play goalie a couple. Hell, I played that media game. Remember, Christian? I played there. Yeah. I mean, obviously smaller goal and all, but I played on big ones too. And it is possible. It's not. If anything, it's harder for the penalty kick. The taker, just because it puts way more pressure on you. That the goal for them looks much smaller. But anyways, Christian, what were you gonna add before I move on?
No, the one thing that. I like Steve Clark. I think he's a great shot stopper. I think he's really good as a goalie, right? He has experience. Like the thing about penalties is like it's a mental game as much as it is a maybe, I don't know if tactical is the right word, but you have to have some type of skill to put the ball inside of the goal. It's not just like go in there, shoot. Like you can't do that. Just go in there and shoot and hope for the best. But I think it does require some type of skill for you to place the ball where you want it to go, right? But I feel like as a goalkeeper, you're supposed to intimidate, the player in front of you and, make yourself big, move around. I don't know, punch
make yourself big physically and mentally as well. Yeah.
Steve Clark literally stands there and puts his hands on his knees. Mm-hmm. And you're like, bro, like you're literally making the goal bigger for the kicker. Like it's like a mentality thing. And that's just the thing that pisses me off. Like if he would just stand and open his arms, that's enough. Like that scares the shit out of me as a kicker.
And just to add, he did it like in the last 2 shots, and one he almost saved. Yes. Yeah. And so it's like, dude, do it for the other 10.
All right, guys, we're putting this to bed. So Steve Clark's penalty save percentage in his career is 13.4%.
Right.
The average penalty save percentage among the top flight leagues in Europe over the past 5 years is 15%. So he's just below average. So
but I mean, you're playing with top tier.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but we will.
Yeah, but it's better goalkeepers still too.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and the only thing I was gonna add is we do have to say that those penalties by Sounders were fucking magnificent, man.
Yeah.
There's like, apart from maybe Brooklyn Reigns hitting that, crossbar really and in, most of the shots by the Dynamo were not like that, Chris.
Yeah, I would say some of them were decent. Kowalczyk
was awful.
Got saved. Yeah, Tate was awful. The first ones were pretty. I mean, they were decent,
especially in the first series. If you go back and look at the first penalty
series was trash. I think obviously they practice over the week. I
and
believe.
the Sounders. I'm talking about the Sounders. Like
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
look at them. I mean, all of them are like legit in.
But I just want to say, I completely understand when it comes to the numbers, that Joey's throwing out. But I still think Steve Clark is still trash when it comes to penalty. He might be below average numbers wise, but he's a bad goalkeeper when it comes to penalties. And it's okay, well, it's not okay, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's
not
okay
everybody is great. Again,
yeah.
it's just we understand. It's a part of the game.
He's way below average.
If the Dynamo were good at
because of
finishing, then you didn't have to go to penalties.
Exactly.
If explained it.
Yeah,
What was
but
the
you look at
XG,
Steve's
Joey?
numbers, though. You look at his numbers for everything else; it just far outweighs penalties. It's just like,
Of course.
No,
you
that's
might
what I'm
take
saying.
2 penalty shootouts a season, like.
But it just happens that this series went to
It's not
PKs,
his
and that's
forte.
Yeah,
what I mean.
is it
just
Steve's
happens,
fault that the Dynamo couldn't score a goal in regulation?
It is not. No, not at
Yeah,
all.
no, he kept a clean sheet in the first game, and in the second
He
game,
did great. He had 2 perfect games almost.
the
But
second game, that roll down goal, there's nothing you could do about that one. I mean,
it just happens that the game went to PKs, and that's when you need them the most. And it's unfortunate because it really shows, it really kind of highlights the fact that he's not great at it. But it's not his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just a part of the game that
exactly.
it's important at times. Like you said, Joey, you don't see penalties all the time, right? And obviously, when you do, you kind of want somebody that has a bigger chance of making it. Okay,
but when they matter, they matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course they do.
I mean, not every goalkeeper is Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez also has a lot of weaknesses in other parts of his game. So
for sure,
exactly.
For sure. Like
but he wins them. You know what I mean?
He starts humping the trophies and the awards.
He wins them. That's all that matters.
What I was gonna go somewhere with this, and I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Okay, let me keep going here. McKinsey Gaines is out of contract this year. I don't know. I don't know if we keep him or
probably not.
No, the team was at a point where they're down 3 starting wingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this dude still couldn't start games. Like Brad Smith was still getting minutes over him. Like Daniel Steres was playing left wing this last game over him. Like I don't know. He just kind of stinks.
I agree. John Gregus, big John Gregus,
who's that guy?
club option 2025. Obviously, he came in. Jeez. He was a poor man's Hector Herrera. He was okay for that time being.
He was serviceable.
He was good. I don't know if you bring him back. I mean, he never really got any more action.
You get rid of him.
You got Moreno now.
Yeah, he's just I don't know. He was serviceable for a few games, but he's not very good.
All right, then we go to what I guess is still considered a homegrown, which is kind of crazy. But Tay Schmidt is also on the board with a club option of 2025. Tater Tots, unfortunately for him, didn't get a lot of action, and he becomes the anti-hero, missing that penalty.
I'd keep him.
You bring him back?
Yeah, he's on like a 100K a season. He's barely making anything. He plays both sides, fullback, left and right back. He's had a few decent shifts off the bench defensively. Like I don't know, he's just one of those guys at the end of the roster that's pretty insignificant. If they need to play a few games here and there, he'll do a job. Doesn't make a lot of money.
It's hard to believe that he came in and just as an they invited him to the preseason and became the starting left back. Last year, Diego. I don't know if you have anything on him you want to add, bro.
I mean, I was just gonna say that he's probably gonna be a starter for D2 a lot for next season. I think it's good for him. I think you mentioned he's playing so well to the fact that we forgot that he's a homegrown. We forgot that he's young. We forgot that he has time to grow. I think he's in a similar position to Griffin Dorsey a couple years back when he was struggling.
He's 27.
Like 27 now? Woo. All right.
He's 27.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're both in a very similar, like, Griffin Dorsey's a little more advanced when it comes to, like, his success with the Dynamo. But, like, we see flashes of that kind of success with Tate, and it seems like he really wants to be here. So, I mean, why not bring him back?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I mean, especially if you're getting rid of, like, Brad Smith or, another guy on the left back position. I have nothing against him. Even
he has a lot of heart when he plays.
Yeah, for sure he does. Next one up here is Gabe Siegel. The dude killed it with Dynamo 2, man. But yeah, keep him. Everybody's keeping him.
Just like Tate, he's not going to play a lot, but
all right, Chris, you watched a few more games.
He's good. I mean, in D2, he's really good. I feel like he can score from anywhere.
Messi of Dynamo 2, maybe.
He takes shots from outside the box. He can score from free kicks. He can find some spaces. He's not that huge in the air because he's not tall. But I mean, as a number 9, he could be a good backup number 9 if you're not gonna have Ferreira. Like he'll hustle. He's still a kid. He can play those U.S. Open Cups, the last 30, second halves or whatever it may be. He can put in some good shifts. I mean, he obviously, when it comes to playing those, he does sobresalir. I don't know how to say that in English.
Yeah,
he stands out. There you go.
Yeah, he stands out. He's the best player on the team. Next one up here is Usman Silla. I don't know what's up with this guy. He has a option for 25, 26, 27. We know that he's like 23, 24. Do you keep him? Do you not keep him? I think we've had this conversation before, Joey. What are your thoughts now going into this, position of the Dynamo having to make a decision here?
I mean, if he wants to stay, I guess he might as well just extend the option. He's not really making much money, so it's just another younger guy who could take a leap and prove himself. But I don't know why he'd want to stay. Like he's pretty far from first team action. He's just going to be playing with the second team. You feel like he'd probably want to go take his luck to USL or something like what Palomino did, go to like a lower European league, something like that. That's probably what would be best for his career. But I mean, I feel like that one. If he wants to be here, keep him here. If he doesn't, let him walk.
Oh man, this has been a fantastic episode. I hope that you guys are okay. We're gonna go a little longer. Is that all right with you guys?
Yes,
might
sir.
As well. It's gonna be, might as well finish it out. I know we did this for the dash and then of the SL. I want to hear just the predictions, man. I know we laughed about all this stuff. I know, Diego, you weren't necessarily a part of this selection, but feel free to laugh at us, for stupid picks. So I'll start with this, man. The question was, where will the Dynamo finish in the Western Conference? Me, Joey, Dustin, Christian had them in 6th place.
Boom! Is that when we finished?
No, it was 5th.
Damn it!
Manny had them in 7th. Then Derek.
Manny's way off.
Yeah, and Derek and Rodrigo had them in 5th, and then Billy had them in 8th. So I mean, yeah,
Billy.
We're all in the ballpark pretty much.
Yeah. Who will be the Dynamo top scorer this season? This is where it gets a little bit funny. Let's all laugh at ourselves. Myself, Joey, Manny. Oh wait, no, take that back. Myself, Joey, Dustin, Christian had Aliyu Ibrahim. So how far off were we, guys?
You're right.
Right.
I know.
Ibrahim was.
Yeah, look at that.
That's terrible. 6 goals. Top goal scorer.
I was hoping for more.
Terrible.
Manny and Derek had Amin Bassi as a top goal scorer.
We didn't get enough penalties this year.
That boy won't shoot. Save his life.
Billy did too, actually. And then Rodrigo had Kovalchik. So
Kovalchik wasn't a bad shot. He had 4.
No. He played well. Who would be Houston Dynamo's team MVP this season? I think we know the answer for this one, but none of us hit it. I had Steve Clark. Derek had the same. Joey, you had Kovalchik as your pick. Manny had Griffin Dorsey, and then Dustin, Christian, and Rodrigo all had Coco Carrasquilla as your pick.
So who would you guys pick, Mikhail?
Mikhail. I think Mikhail wins it.
I think I would go Bossy, but
you would go Bossy sucks.
No. Mikhail.
Hashtag never forget.
I would say it's Bossy.
I don't know.
All right, here goes. Diego, Mikhail, why?
Give us your thoughts.
Because I mean, when you look at this
He's a
team and
beast.
when you look at this team and how they're built and kind of the mentality that they wanted to develop, it all starts from players like Mikhail.
Mhm.
Players that hustle, players that fight for the badge when they really have no reason to. I mean, he is a player that got absolutely no recognition within Major League Soccer in any way, shape, or form throughout the
Yep.
entire season. But
Only
yet,
from Matt
I mean,
Doyle.
he played with
Shout out, Matt.
intensity each and every game. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
he's the
think he-
player that
Mhm.
we wanted out of teenage Hadebe.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he's
that's
And so
the
why not
they're
say
gonna
that he's
keep
the best?
naming him as the example of the Dynamo 2 pipeline, right? And I mean that's what you want him to be. And Mikael has been a solid rock defensively. He's by far this year he was great. Last year he was very good. So I mean, there's room for him to grow. He's still very young. I know a lot of people want to sell him. We've talked about this enough, and I don't want to get into it. But keep him, and make the dude happy. I mean, he's making pennies in comparison of what he should
Yeah.
be making, and he
Give him a
seems
fat
content.
check.
He's a team player. He looks like he's enjoying his time. So, keep him. This one is when everybody's gonna get a good laugh here because what is your Dynamo bold prediction for 2024? They're all completely different, so I'll start with mine. Mine was win CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Damn,
I
boy.
will say though, this predictions were before we knew Hector Herrera was hurt. Literally, we posted this, and the next day they're like, "Oh my God, one of the key players is down," and we're like, we were hoping that it wasn't a big player like they mentioned, but it was in fact Hector Herrera. But anyways, Joey, you had Steve Clark gets benched for Xavier Valdez. So look, that's how much love you had for Steve Clark, man.
Look at him. Look at him. He's over here defending him.
I love Steve Clark. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, Steve.
He doubted you first, Steve.
He doubted you
Remember
first
that
from the very beginning of time. Manny put make the MLS Cup final. Manny, you're wrong.
Well, he was talking
Dustin-
about LAFC. Sorry.
So if you guys remember when we did the NWSL one, Dustin hit a lot of like statistical ones that were like very possible. And so I had to fact check this one because he put Hector Herrera plays in 20 MLS games. I looked it up. He played 22. So take that,
Man.
Dustin.
Ha.
You got it wrong.
Dustin's dash one like that was wild.
Yeah.
That one he had about Diana and Maria, that was wild.
That was crazy. Derek said second round playoff exit. Didn't even make it to
Close.
that. You're close.
Yep,
Christian, let's all laugh at here before I'm gonna say it and we all laugh. All right.
I don't know what
Christian
I said.
put win 2 titles.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta be positive.
Rudy, do you want to know what I told my friends as a prediction?
Tell them, man.
Uh-oh.
I said that we were missing the playoffs.
Dang.
That's bold.
Yeah.
I had them at 8th and then losing to Vancouver in the wild card.
Ooh.
You were thinking about Portland. I see.
I was thinking we were in a similar position as Portland ended up being.
I mean, it's possible, right?
I
If
actually
that's a
not
word.
It's possible. It's no. No.
not anymore.
Well, I mean, when you think about like, we aspired for the Dynamo to be like Portland, and now we're a little bit over that, so that's good.
Mhm. Then actually there was one actually not that bad. Rodrigo put make the Western Conference final. Obviously that didn't happen. But Billy said more away wins than the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, that was a good
Look
one,
at
Billy.
Billy.
Hell yeah. Shout out Billy. Hold up.
Shout
Let me
out
see.
Billy Goat, man, killing it on one of the stats.
Billy the Goat.
Fantastic. And let's see, there's who wins the supporter shield. Obviously, we know the answer to that. There's only one person that picked them.
Messi.
Anybody's gonna take a guess out of the names that I mentioned. Who you think? He's Argentinian. I'll give you that. That's your only hint there.
It's
Christian.
Dustin.
Yeah, Christian picked them. Myself, Joey, and Rodrigo picked Philadelphia Union. What a dummy we are. Huh? And Manny picked Columbus Crew. Dustin picked Orlando City, same as Derek. and Billy. Oh, Billy also picked
Orlando was such a good shout. I wanted to go Orlando really badly, but I don't know what it was about Philly. I thought Carranza would stay the whole year, and I thought they would kind of pop off. I thought McGlynn and Sullivan would take huge leaps, and they did.
Yeah.
But just like their that center back partnership, Glesnes and what the hell's his name? The English bloke.
Elliot?
Elliot, yeah.
Jack Elliott?
They've been really good they've been like super rock solid for 5 years now as a partnership, but they just like died. Like I don't know what happened there.
Then obviously we don't know the answer to this one, but I'll go ahead and say, because who wins MLS Cup in 2024? Because we all actually hit a team that is still in the running for it. So I picked Orlando City. Joey picked Seattle Sounders. So we already knew that was gonna, the Dynamo were done for as soon as that happened. Manny picked his favorite team. If you guys see Manny, go hit him like in the shoulder, kind of hard. LAFC as his pick. Dustin picked Inter Miami. Derek, Cincinnati. Christian, Seattle Sounders. Rodrigo picked Inter Miami. And Diego, who did you pick? I want to say you probably played the Atlanta United, didn't you?
Hey,
I picked NYCFC.
There you go, man.
There you go.
I picked New York. I think they're the biggest underdog within the East. And I mean, if we look at them now, Columbus is out. Miami looks to be out, maybe. If Miami's out, New York City FC could be the strongest team in the East. If you think about it.
Could be, yeah. Or Orlando.
Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, Orlando's pretty good too. Who wins the Landon Donovan MLS MVP award? We haven't found that one out yet. They did release that. Was it Gabriel Peck won the newcomer, which, bro, that was a given. The dude had like 30 goal plus assist type of thing.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Crazy. But
just like Aliu.
Yeah. Christian and Rodrigo picked Messi. Billy picked Cucho Hernandez, same as Derek. Dustin had Luis Muriel. Manny had Boanga.
Oh God.
Oh, there's all laugh at Joey. Joey had Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas.
What?
He was hurt all year. It doesn't count.
I had Facundo Torres, so I'm still in the running. That's funny.
Dude, next year, Jesus Ferreira, watch. He's going to be healthy.
And then we did who wins the MLS Golden Boot in 2024. Obviously, we know that both Betanque won it, right? Betanque
did win it? Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
did. Yeah, 23.
And Messi below him, I think.
He was right below.
Yeah. Suarez and Boanga had 21 and Messi had 20.
Okay. Yeah. So I picked Carranza, who's not on the league anymore. Joey picked Bupensa, so we all laugh at him again. He got in a bar fight and he was gone the rest of the season. Joey, what is up with this stuff, man?
Look with Bupensa, dude. Okay, so Bupensa, he got into a bar fight and he got hurt. I mean,
he broke his nose, right?
I mean, was I supposed to predict that? Was I supposed to know that was going to happen? I mean, you looked at Bupensa's numbers last season. You had what? He had 6 goals in his last 14 games. He was starting to really click with that team. I mean, Vasquez scored a boatload of goals for them. So did what's his name? Brenner scored a boatload of goals for him. So it made sense for me. So that's where that one. The Jesus Ferreira one. God, how do I rationalize this one now?
I will say he's the biggest downfall. That's what I was telling Chris the other day.
He was hurt all year.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like 2 years ago, he should have been the starting striker for the what's it called, the U.S. national team in the World Cup, and it just didn't happen. He was at his best for sure. I mean, everything he touched was gold, dude. So I don't know.
It's kind of like what I thought, because they were moving him to the 10 position this year with Musa coming in, and he's always just really kind of cooked in that 10 position. So that's kind of my rationale there. I mean, then he ended up getting hurt to start the year. He missed the first bunch of weeks, and he'd come back, he'd start scoring, and then he'd get hurt again. Then he'd come back, he'd start off slow, then finally start scoring again, then he would get hurt again. He only played like 20 games. So it was like kind of one of those Pulisic seasons at Chelsea where like as soon as he starts clicking again, coming back from injury, he just gets hurt again. and you just never get a full good season. I mean, like in the minutes he played like 1,200 minutes or whatever. And he had like 8 goal involvements. So I mean, it's not terrible. And on like a per minute basis, he could have been the MVP.
Diego,
4-minute basis.
Diego, who did you pick? Say Benteke. Who did you pick, Diego, for the Golden Boot? Say Benteke.
Benteke. No,
There you go. I knew it.
I picked
Sebas Ferreira.
I picked Pedro de la Vega from Seattle, who had like the biggest stinker of a season. I was so high off the hype. I saw
he was overhyped.
I thought he was pretty good against the Dynamo last night. I thought he had a pretty good game in the 10 position. I thought he was good.
That was like his brightest. I saw him play against Austin, and he was like rendered useless.
He's also had a pretty stop-start year for injury-wise. He was like injured for like most of the first half of the year.
I think.
He was injured for a while, and then he came back, and then he started slow, and then he got hurt again, and he's kind of played this last like bunch of stretch of games, and he's not been super good. So I feel like that's one of those moves that if we see him come good, it'll be next year.
I will say though, I'm with Diego. Not a terrible pick, Diego. I think sometimes you just have to take a flyer on some of those guys that come into the league.
Because like I was looking at Seattle, and I thought they were gonna be like an extremely high volume scoring team, and then I looked at like their players. I mean, a DP number 10, that sounds like a lot of goals to me. Like that's my thought process at least.
Who would have thought that Rusnak would have just came back out of nowhere and be the scorer again?
I guess a beast.
And Rusnak, like he was scoring, he was assisting like crazy, and at RSL comes to Seattle, they play him as like a deep 8, and he's kind of like, I don't want to say stunk, but he's been pretty disappointing for them. And then this year, he's just really turned it around. He's been great.
All right, guys, we're on the final stretch of this one's Manny picked Boanga, Dustin picked Gianmarcumakis, who's gone.
That's a good shout.
He's killing it. Derek picked Cucho Hernandez. Christian, actually, you picked the same as me. Carranza, he's also gone. Rodrigo picked Luis Suarez, so he was actually close, right, by a goal. And then Billy also picked Dennis Bonga. What is your MLS bold prediction? I was reading this, and I think it's not bad in some aspects. So I picked that Colorado will finish top 4 in the Western Conference.
Hey, that's a good shot, Rudy. That's a good shot. They almost did that.
They almost did it. Joey, this one's good, man. You put New England have the biggest drop-off in the league without Bruce Arena. Look at that.
Knew it.
Look at that. We laughed a lot at yourself, man. Open mic for you, man.
That was a golden one. That was a gold. I mean, Bruce Arena is I don't even know if you can really argue. He's the best. He's the best coach in the history of this league, despite him being a little bit of a weirdo and getting fired there. But
well, why?
cannot say.
Two big reasons, apparently.
So I mean, he took what was a pretty average New England team. I mean, at the New England team, it was a lot of like draft players like Kessler and Farrell and Bai and Dwan Jones, like this guy Polster, these dudes he's built out of the draft, and then surround them all around Carlos Heel, who's a top 5 player in this league, and then with the great coaching of Bruce Arena, it was able to work because he gets a lot out of those type of draft pick type of players. Like over the years, your A.G. De La Garza's, your Omar Gonzalez, like those type of guys. He's always gotten a lot out of them. So he had really great seasons with New England, and I knew the second he got fired, I'm like, oh, they're in trouble because that's not a good roster. Especially with Giacomo Veroni's kind of been a massive bust as a DP striker too. Like Caleb Porter is not a good coach to turn it around, and I like Caleb Porter as a coach. I don't think he's like awful. He was one of my picks for the Dynamo to hire instead of Ben Olsen.
No, I think he's horrible.
I don't think he's horrible. He's had some good seasons, man. He brought Giassi Zardes back from the dead. I don't think he's a good coach by any means. I think he's just kind of decent. He could get you in the playoffs. He's gotten to the playoffs many seasons in his career. So
he's about a 13% like in penalties.
He's the Doc. He's the Doc Rivers of the MLS, where he gets
I don't know who that
great
is.
teams where they need to go, but like with
Yeah,
any
sure.
sort of like solid or terrible teams, you can't really
Yeah.
do anything.
That's fair. That's fair. And New England have a terrible roster, so they finished right where I expected them to, right towards the bottom.
I know Joey's bold prediction for next year. San Jose wins the MLS Cup.
Yeah, Rosarina gets named. I don't
They're
think
gonna-
it is yet.
San Jose is going to make the playoffs next year. San Jose and Chicago Fire. They're both making the playoffs next year.
Chicago, I
Give
can
me
see
Espinosa
Chicago.
with 30 goals next year.
They
too.
both
Come on.
make the playoffs next year because both them the season's not even over yet, and they both just got the fattest coaching upgrades you could possibly ask for.
That's true.
No kidding. Manny put Miami don't make the MLS Cup final. I don't know. That's still to be
Nah.
proven wrong.
like a
This was
50-50.
funny. We're all gonna laugh at Dustin. Dustin say Neymar signs with Inter Miami in the summer. Neymar should retire. Did you guys see that he
That
only
boy
played like
He got hurt
20
again
minutes?
today.
And he already like pulled his hammy. Come on, man. Derek put Inter Miami loose in the first round in the playoffs. Technically, it can still happen, right? I mean, Atlanta has a shot. Christian says Chicago Fire make the Eastern Conference final. Let's all laugh at Christian.
I was talking about next year, guys. Next year.
Dude, it's just Chicago Fire make the Eastern Conference final.
Hey, it's bold prediction. It's in the name.
Oh, brother,
Iconic predictions.
you were high on Hugo Kuipers, weren't you?
You know, hey, you gotta,
Was this before Durant got what's it called? Let go to Villa? Was this?
I'm actually gonna give Christian a little bit of grace with that one, because I mean, despite having a terrible coach, still they made some good offseason moves.
right? They look promising.
I mean, Acosta was obviously a good signing. He didn't have the best of seasons, but Kellen Acosta is like one of those. He's one of those MLS players who's kind of like just kind of good at everything. Doesn't really have many weaknesses, but doesn't shine specifically at anything either. I mean, Kuipers was a good striker to bring in too. So I think Eastern Conference Finals is a little crazy, but I'll give them some grace. I thought they were going to be better than they were too.
They were hot for like what, a stretch of like 3 games.
Where did I have them in my predictions? I did make a table. Let's see. Where did I have Chicago?
And then just to finish it off, Rodrigo put LAFC makes the MLS Cup final for the 3rd year in a row. Jeez. Not the craziest prediction. I mean, it's doable still for sure. Joey, if you find it, let us know. Otherwise,
I don't have it.
All right, this is what I want to do. Anybody want to add anything? This is the last time we're going to talk about the 2024 season as a whole for the Dynamo specifically, obviously, and probably future. Man, and Diego, thanks for joining us, man. I really enjoy your input on everything, especially when I just throw you a hot potato, brother.
No, I appreciate it. I think I really love covering New York sports. I love it, but again, heart is orange, so I appreciate always getting to talk Houston soccer. Honestly,
it's fun. That is for sure. All right. So anybody else apart from a Christian open mic, 2 minutes if you need it?
Nah.
Anything?
No,
we covered everything.
Joey, I feel like we're good, man. I think I'm excited to take a little leave of absence. I'm not gonna do the dash way and be gone for 3 months. I promise I'll be back beforehand. As someone mentioned about HR earlier,
I'll be the Ricky Clark of BCS.
There you go, man.
There you go.
Interim. What's it called?
Assistant to the regional manager.
But man, if there's nothing else, and before Christian, obviously you let the people how they connect. Which, man, about 140 people have been going on back and forth. Man, it's great. Thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that commented, especially obviously during our rant for the Dash and the Dynamo, which I know that's what you guys are here for. I just wanted to get the MLS stuff out of the way because again, the Dynamo are already out. So who cares, man? At the end of the day, who cares after that? In this podcast specifically. But I did not want to leave without giving a shout out to obviously everybody that does really hard work here at Bayou City Soccer. Obviously, the contributors like Joey Chavala, with his great articles and presser questions.
Ratings.
Always ready to face an angry Ben Olsen.
My guy.
Or or Ricky Clark or whoever is interim for the dash at this point. We don't even know.
The coach in passing.
Obviously, Cristias Putalias with your great in-depth coverage of the Dynamo 2, man, and the passion that you have for the club and our podcast for sure, bro. Manny Olivares, we love to dog on Manny, but he consistently covers the Houston Dash like no other. So shout out to Manny. David Dominguez, our newest contributor, Movimiento Naranja, which is our Bayou City Soccer Spanish podcast. So if you guys have not listened and people that speak Spanish or you speak Spanish, go check it out. We try and do our best. Phil's coming out pretty good. So, we try to keep them short. I know that time is limited for a lot of us. Then obviously it could not go without saying about, our amazing photograph guys. And I don't know why I got this weird itch behind my knee, man. What the hell's happening? I don't know. But obviously, Billy Mears, he was very strong in the beginning of the season. Life happened, so he hasn't been able to make it out there as much. Aldo Canale, Diego Martinez was here with us, obviously. Great. He was fantastic in the summer, man, coming in from college. Thanks for the hard work, man, that you put for Bayou City Soccer, bro.
Not only a photographer, videographer, but I am first and foremost Kenny Bundy's #1 fan.
I know. we all love Kenny Bundy, man. As soon as he got moved to assistant with the Dynamo, they're like, you guys can no longer talk to him. And I was a little bummed out. I was a little bummed out because
I saw him during training, and he recognized me, saw me, and said, "Hey, what's up, man?" I did not realize it was him. So I kind of just ignored him. And then I turned around and I was like, oh shit, hey Kenny.
Did you think it was Brad Smith?
One of the bald guys.
Start naming a few. What's it called? Oh yeah, so Gustavo Trevino, he joined us too in the summer break. Summer break for him. He did a great job. Omar Duran, what's another guy? And of course, Ricky Vega, man. Ricky Vega, dude, has been killing it. Obviously, since he's been one of the guys, in absence of Diego and other guys that have been able to make it. The guy's been taking fantastic pictures. He has a lot of ideas for more content in general. So we're hoping that before, like Christian, you said, I mean, hopefully Man City doesn't come looking for his rights, man. But
yeah,
he's been doing fantastic work. I mean, all the players seem to really enjoy his pictures. They share his pictures all the time when he tags them, or they even reach out and ask his picture. Same thing for Diego. I mean, there's players reaching out for him, for Aldo, and we pass the pictures to them, whatever we have, and we're like, hey, just tag our guys, man, give them some love, for sure. And of course, we couldn't do anything in Bayou City Soccer without our fearless leader, aka El Jefe, aka managing editor Dustin Richardson, man. So we love Dustin. We miss him. He's a fan. He's a fan favorite for sure. Everybody loves him when he makes it to the podcast, man. But yeah, I mean, again, we couldn't provide provide, I guess, our Houston soccer fans in the city the best content without each and every one of you guys. So thanks for that contributing. I mean, we had I was thinking about it earlier today, just how many things we did. I mean, we did the Women's Gold Cup, we did NWSL, we did MLS, obviously, we did MLS Next Pro, Copa America, Leagues Cup, and a couple of things here and there in between. And it doesn't stop, man. It's going to be more of the same next year.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Leagues Cup as well. Then having Gold Cup. We got the Gold Cup final in Houston. So, Joey, if you want to, that'd be the time to come over here.
Yeah, what's that going to be? July?
I think, July 7th.
Like 15 or something?
Yeah.
Book it. I'm there.
I'm just BSing.
Book it, man.
Come watch the U.S.
So no, man, it's been crazy. Yeah, because I was thinking about it, man. Just I was thinking like everything we've gone through. Obviously, like thinking of the Dynamo season as a whole, just since it ended. But obviously, like from the very first game, the craziness of losing Maggie as well. That happened the first game of the season. I mean, that was brutal, and I think it took out the air in the beginning of the season. It was just like, what the hell's happening here? And then everything that we've had to endure, obviously, kind of wishing she was a part of it still. But anyways, anything else again that you guys want to add? Anything that maybe I missed? Anything that you guys? Yep.
No, so the game is in July 6th, but July 6th, 2025. So we'll probably get together here for that, do something big, with us and everybody. Hopefully you guys come enjoy and see the festivities with us. But I mean, I think we wouldn't be able to do the work that we do without the Houston Dynamo and Houston Dash.
I love,
team.
dude. Are you reading my notes? Because that was next.
Hey.
That was absolutely next. But you can keep going. I can read it from what I wrote as well. But yeah, I was just gonna mention, thanks. I mean, yeah, absolutely, dude. We Houston Dynamo Football Club at this point, which is obviously the Dynamo and the Dash, the communication team, Jack, Edgar, Leo, John B, and many others that are there during game days. They're always just so nice to us. Like Diego, you mentioned, obviously everybody you meet, they're just very kind, and of course, as well the players you mentioned, even coaches like Kenny Bundy, like from all three teams, they make themselves available, and they just take time out of their day to get some questions thrown their way for not us just specifically to get to know them, but obviously for the fans to get to know them, which I think that's important as we try to build that connection with the city as well. Yeah, Christian, Diego, Joey. All right, now if I missed anything, this is your time, Diego.
Go to the website.
Go to the website. Go read their amazing work. Go check out our page. I think, honestly, I don't see any better content about Houston soccer than BCS. So, I mean, check us out.
Yeah, you can tell the people where they can connect.
Yeah, I also check out every single person individually. I think we'll do a better job in having every single person that contributes on our website. I think that we'll probably do it in the off season, because everybody also does a lot of personal work, or just they have like side hustles per se, or side little projects that they do. I know Matt Diego over here has great stuff going on over there in New York City, and he's doing stuff all over the place. He's traveled the whole country basically this year. Aldo has started his stuff. Ricky's probably gonna do some of his stuff.
Oh,
too.
He has stuff for sure. He was showing me, man.
And
he's talented.
A bunch of us, we do a bunch of other stuff too, and I think it's awesome that we're so passionate that we have like different stuff going on at the same time, and we still make time to cover Houston. So go check out every single person individually and go support their work as well. And like we said, we're gonna put everything down at BayouCitySoccer.net. That's the website that we have where you can find everything. Check out the social media, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube channel. Check us out there. Maybe somebody will start a TikTok someday and start doing some dances or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and
Diego's the youngest guy, so maybe he can do it.
Right.
Look, I still don't understand how that works. So for a little life update for me, these guys know it, but I was granted the opportunity to like basically cover all content for the women's soccer program here at my school here at Fordham, and they were like, hey, we need a TikTok, we need video. I was like, I don't know how the fuck that works. So I just got one of the players to do it. Now she runs it for me.
There you go. Well, we're gonna have to outsource.
There we go. Yeah, literally outsource it. Anybody but me.
Yeah, no, but
tell them is a project.
I will say though, this
internship,
a fun, different thing, especially with Bayou City Soccer. I think this is year one. Is this our full year with Bayou City Soccer, or
second 2023, 2024?
Okay,
it was so like January, right? Wasn't
it's on your mic?
It was January. Yeah, 2023. My bad. Well, I was gonna say, obviously, third year now. The fact that the team just keeps getting better. I think a lot of talented guys keep coming through the realms, like Diego and Joey. Covering the team, it's fun. I enjoy it as my hobby. specifically. I don't think I ever gonna make a true living out of it. I would love to, but
someday.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's
when the
fun
Dynamo win the World Cup.
Dude, when they win the World Cup, we're gonna be super excited.
The Concava. We're gonna win the Concava.
I'll be fine with that too, man.
Concava World Cup.
But no, obviously, like I love seeing the guys that come in and use us like as a platform to like keep developing and putting their great content and contributions in their portfolio, obviously. So you know, all these guys that could come in. There's some more in the background. Some of the ones we're highlighting are the ones that you'll see a lot of their work. But I think like that's the core group that is very consistent, and so it's fun to see like, you know, everybody's work. And obviously, like Dustin writes an article, boom, we have a picture from Diego, or like, you know, Chris writes an article, and boom, we have a picture or something from one of the guys. So it's fun for sure. And then obviously, like, you don't have to be living in Houston. I mean, obviously Diego is all the way in New York. Joey's in New Mexico. He's the biggest Dynamo fan in New Mexico. Like,
that's right.
Like,
it's a given.
In the 3 states around him, like, basically.
Yes, sir.
What is that considered? Is that considered the Midwest? No, that's not considered the Midwest.
No, we're not the Midwest.
That's
the Southwest. The Southwest.
No, you're well, no, that's what is it called?
He's Northern Mexico.
Okay, fine. You're the biggest Dynamo fan in the mountain time zone.
There we go. There we go.
All right, got it right. All right, but man, no, absolutely, and of course, I don't know if we already mentioned it because I feel like we've been talking for a bit, but obviously, you know, the guys supporting us, right? All the guys in the community, all the fans, everybody that we reach out. We were really hoping to make it back to Pitch 25 for a Game 3. Hopefully that still happens. That was a fun time and location with all the fans. But yeah, no, obviously great support, man. Christian, let's go ahead and seal it, man. Tell the people how they can connect with us, and we'll get out of here.
Just check out the website, BayouCitySoccer.net. That's where you can find anything and everything, and just click the links, man. Click the links.
And without that, all right, guys. Again, thanks, Diego, for joining us. Christian, Joe, you probably still see Christian this for the weeks that I'm gone.
Yeah.
Some MLS updates, but we'll see you soon, man. Be a little short break. We'll come back when there's more news. Hopefully sooner than later, guys. But y'all, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange. Peace.
Let's go.